My name is Olivia and welcome back to my realm. So today we're doing something a little different. We're not doing the traditional top-down journal video, and welcome to my stationery stack if you didn't read the title of the video, because I forgot how poorly video camera quality is when you're filming on an all white surface. So I will attempt to film top down, but you might see a lot of these books held up like this, so the glare isn't as terrible. So yeah, in the year 2026, I have a ton of journals that I will be using. I've been using a ton of these this year, actually. Most of this lineup you're going to see. There's going to be a couple new ones. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. And if you are in need of some inspiration on how to use your unused journals, this is the video for you. So with all that said, let's get started. If you could see how I have this camera propped up right now, you would actually laugh out loud. But let's get started with the first piece of stationery that is going to be in my 2026 lineup, and that is my sketchbook. As you can see here, it has this beautiful embroidered cover that is really fun to just touch. The back is actually flat, but the front is embroidered, and I really enjoy that because it makes me want to draw. I feel like drawing is such a tactile hobby to have, and so I love the feel of this journal. It also comes with pretty stark white paper, and I actually like how this is a bound sketchbook. I've had ringed sketchbooks most of my life, and so this is it just feels more professional, if that makes sense. And sketching and drawing and art is something I really want to get back into in 2026, so that is why I have this beautiful sketchbook that I got for really cheap. I think it was $8 from TJ Maxx. Next up, we have this gorgeous A5, and actually, I don't know how large the sketchbook is. I think it may be B5, but this A5 ringed planner from Baddies and Budgets. As you can see, the kind of glare of her embossed logo. It is bright pink, and I'm pretty sure that this is like fake leather, vegan leather, which I hope so because I would not want to own real leather. And yeah, it's really nice. It has a pen loop in the back. It has various zippers, and it has compartments to hold cards and other things like that. Inside is a dashboard, which says intentionally rich, and this is her intentionally rich planner. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I have set this up for 2026, but I will not be showing this ever really on camera because it contains very sensitive financial information. So this is something that you'll really see at the end of the year to see how I used it. I also love that the planner comes with tabs, so you get to see the year at a glance. So that is my budget planner to get my financial life in order, because personal finance will be a big topic in 2026, not just for me, but I think everybody. Moving right along, we have a really exciting purchase, and this is the first new planner in my system. The Intentionally Rich planner I tried to use this year, but for a variety of reasons couldn't really make it work. And the sketchbook I did get this year, but I've been using a sketchbook for most of my life. I actually have a sketchbook that's unfinished on this side of the camera. I'm just not planning to use in 2026. I'm moving into the new one. So all that to say, budget planning and sketching has been in my life one way or another, but this is a completely new journal for me. It is from Tifosi. I've heard people in the journal community call this so many different things, but I'm gonna go with Tifosi, and if that's wrong, just correct me down in the comments. So this right here is just so amazing. Side note, I am actually filming this video on my birthday, and I am a Sagittarius, so that is why I picked Tifosi's Sagittarius dot grid journal for my media journal. You might be asking what a media journal is, and think of a media journal as it's simply a place that you collect various things that you're consuming. So it can be It can be TV shows, it can be books, it can be movies, it can be music. If you want to expand it, because I'm actually debating calling this a hobby journal versus a media journal. You could put things like craft projects and all sorts of things, honestly. A media journal can be whatever you want it to be. So I am going to take off the logo because, spoiler, I did rip open every package I got in the mail before starting this video. So while I'm technically unboxing this on camera, I did open the package and squeal at it. So as you can see, and let me move some of the trash out of frame, it has this beautiful gold fold cover that has the Sagittarius Archer arrow with a moon in the middle and what looks like little star or star light surrounding it, which is just so pretty. I hope you can see the glow on camera. On the side, it has this beautiful, beautiful gold gilded edge that also has like astrology / just astronomy signs on it, which is just really, really cool. It has a pen loop and it also has a band because I'm anticipating this getting super thick because when we get to my reading journal, you'll see how much I use it. This is also an A5 book. Inside is the gilded Typhosy logos and then a place to put your name. One thing I really love about this dot grid, as much as I've come to love the softer creamish paper or like the softer dots, I really, really love that this is numbered because since getting into bullet journaling this year, I have had to number everything and it is very exhausting. So I feel like this is really useful for index as well. The gilded edges just look so pretty. I hope the camera is picking up how pretty it is. Now, one thing that is different than some companies is that you only get one bookmark and it doesn't have like a Typhosy logo on the back. Oh, I lied. Actually, it comes with two, so that's pretty standard for these types of things, but no logo on the bottom of one of them. So that is a little different. I also love the eggplant purple color. It was kind of magical without going too far for my personal taste. I'm going to string this baby up. I am so excited. I'm actually going to start with an About Me page, actually probably this year. And you know, honestly, I say 2026, but I'll probably use this year because I need to start the About Me page. And I watched a lot of great media this year, listened to some fantastic music. So we'll see if I can hold out till then to use it. This also came with a free gift, so I will open that up right now. Oh, and it looks like it's a little charm. It's like candy. I don't know if you can see it too well, and a little cat. So that is actually really cute. Maybe something to be used as like a keychain, or you could even decorate a journal with it as well. I did get this around Halloween, so that probably explains the charm. Okay, moving right along, we have my absolute favorite like journaler or journal maker ever. I actually have the B6 version that is no longer on sale of the journal I'm about to show you that I've been using as my bullet journal this year. This journal is from the lovely Leela Journals. Now, this didn't come with the journal, but I had a random brown bow. I have random bows around my house. Don't ask me why. And so I've just kind of been decorating the journal with it. But yes, this is her A5 Reusable notebook. This is the reissued one because the original sold out and then she got a restock of it, and I am not sure if this is still for sale. It is so freaking gorgeous. If it is, then I will link it down below. But even the box is like beautiful. One downside was Typhosy. It didn't come with a box, so I keep my journals in the boxes if I have them. So that is just one downside. Oh my goodness, I already knew what it was going to look like because I have the B6, but this is just so beautiful. It feels so elegant and just not ephemeral, if that makes sense. And I love things that feel like super authentic, feel very like lush and luxury. And that's what I feel was all of her journals. It feels, comparing it to the old one, it is very, very similar on the outside. Actually, I think identical. You have the rose, you have the moon, you have the stars. I really love moon and starlight design. So if you haven't noticed, that is going to be a trend with some of these journals. It has this beautiful edge, like embossed details, gilded details, gilded edges that are just so beautiful. And I'm in love. Now, the one difference is the inside. She did like this lace pattern with the roses inside and like just just kind of elevated it. And she always has like these little poems inside, and this one reads, "Like a rose, it's okay to feel delicate sometimes. True beauty lies in the fragility of your petals. A rose that never wilts isn't a rose at all," which I just think is so, so lovely. Now, this has the very similar like bright white paper. She actually uses brown dots for her dot grid, which I feel are just a little less harsh on the eyes. It is not numbered, which I'm really loving with Typhosy, but you know, you win some, you lose some. This also has the traditional 2 bookmarks that are like a goldish color, but at the end you have her bow logo that comes with all of her designs. At the back, you have a little loop so you can tie it down, and then you do have a pocket. And let me check real quickly. The Typhosy one had a pocket too. I forgot to mention that. So with this A5 Reusable journal, with this beautiful lush brown cover with gold details, I am actually planning to use this for something that is called a legacy journal. And a legacy journal, it's kind of like a niche thing. It really is more for like older people, and typically they will like write a memoir or something like that. But it's kind of like a niche concept, and the concept behind it is that you collect your life in a way that you would want to pass down. And so this is why I love, and look at this, oh my God, look at the spot. I forgot to mention that. The bows, the moon, the roses, the starlights, it's just so pretty. But the reason why I wanted to start a legacy journal is I've been thinking about like all these amazing things that have happened in my life, and I really want to like contain them somewhere and be able to pass them along. So I am using this one to chronicle my 20s as well as my 30s as I am entering this next chapter of my life. Now, you might be saying, Olivia, how are you going to get that many years inside of what is a relatively small notebook? The Typhosy one is pretty huge. It's like 216 pages, if not more. Let me check. 256 numbered pages, where I believe this is 194, like a pretty standard size for a bullet journal. Same like 180 GSM paper, that thicker paper that's popular now so you can do other things, but a smaller notebook. And the way I'm getting around that is that basically each year can only take up, I believe the calculation was 9 pages. So that way I'm not like extrapolating on just like every single detail. That is for things like my diary, right? But these are really like the highlight reels of my life and the struggles as well that I want to pass along in a pretty format. So that is my first legacy journal for 2026. And like I said before, I love that it comes in this beautiful keepsake box, because I will be keeping it in here, because if I have any hope of having this journal for 10 years, it has to stay protected. Next up is another stunner of a notebook, also from Leela Journals, that will actually have the same use. And this is, I believe it's called her Tulip Reusable from her new release. This one also comes in Tamori River paper, a traveler size, I think down to like a B6 and up to like a B5. And it also has a sketchbook. I don't think she has lined journals, but I could be wrong on that one. Oh, and I will say, I think I said Tulip Reusable. I believe this is called the Tulip Spell Book Journal. Now, this one is very, very similar to the Reusable book, so I won't go into all the spec details, but I just want to show you how pretty it is. It also has the gold foiling, but I feel like it's slightly more metallic looking. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it looks duller, but in a great way. The cover is absolutely stunning. The tulips, the butterflies, the moon, the stars, you know how it goes, the bows. It's just super pretty. The edge is just to die for. And this is inspired by princesses. And so it's just really pretty. Now, the one difference on the back, it has like this version, this smaller version of the front cover. This was supposed to be the same thing on the Reusable, but I guess like some issue with the printer meant that Leela Journals couldn't do that. But that is fine. I believe Artie is one of the best artists in this space, and even when she makes a mistake, it is still gorgeous. So all that to say, this will also be a legacy journal, and this legacy journal will extend from basically my baby years to my early childhood / teens, like up to 19 will be in this one. Same system where each year only gets a few pages as well. Inside, she has a beautiful poem. It says, she's like a tulip, unfolding when the sun shines bright, closing when the moon touches the sky. She finds herself in the opening and closing of these pages. She's coming alive, which again, just literal art. And then I will also be doing a bit of family history in this one, because I really don't have much to say about when I was 1 year old. So a lot of this will also be memory keeping from my family and the stories that we have together. Okay, unlike my two newer Leela journals on this lineup, this stationery stack, that I will firmly be starting in 2026, I will be fighting for my actual life to start this next journal in 2026 as intended, much like my hobby / media journal. And this also is my only Archer and Olive notebook. I know they are like the big dogs of the luxury journal space, but I actually have kind of like maybe heretical, but I haven't loved pretty much any of the covers I've seen from them, aside from the one I'm about to show you. And I actually got it on Mercari, which is like a secondhand selling shop. I'll link my Pango books below. I don't currently have anything listed on Mercari, but I plan to in the future. And this is because this was sold out in February. It then got a small restock for Black Friday that wasn't on Black Friday. What are these companies doing? Not hosting Black Friday sales on Black Friday. And then by some miracle, I found it secondhand. And that is this absolutely gorgeous Archer and Olive Love Spell holographic A5 dot grid notebook, which felt really long to say. I have been looking for this journal for a better part of a year, because the one thing I also don't like about Archer and Olive, like small sellers like Leela Journals, I get why their stuff goes out of stock, because she like is one person with maybe some help. But I feel like Archer and Olive, and correct me if I'm wrong, they are a big enough small company, which is kind of an oxymoron, where they can keep their journals in stock. And like this one, when I tell you I was ready to drop $50 on this, if it was $50, that's how seriously I love this cover, because I love stars. I love anything that has like a kind of moonish celestial vibe, and this has it. Even has arrows, so while it's supposed to be Cupid themed, I kind of relate it to the Sagittarius Archer. Beautiful spine with this key, and yeah, I wanted it so bad, and it was out of stock. And I feel like every time I see an Archer and Olive journal on YouTube, I feel like every single time it's out of stock. But enough ranting and raving about that. They are a wonderful company with a wonderful mission. I just feel like they're beautiful journals. They just need to keep in stock. But anyway, some of the specs of this A5 journal. Well, on top of this beautiful, beautiful holographic cover, inside, it has a copy of the design with the holographic feel, and I hope that you can see it coming up on camera right now. Now, unfortunately, this does not actually have hollow sides or edging, which I really thought it would have hollow gilded edges. When I first saw it, I knew that it didn't when I bought it from the seller, but that is one thing where I'm like, man, that would have made it even prettier, actually. So inside, you have the typical Archer and Olive this book belongs to, and you have these wonderful dot grid pages. And I don't know if you can see it too well in camera, but the dots are like bluish compared to the more like standard black or Leela Journals like brown dots. So that is also really cool. It has the standard 2 bookmarks, and they are bright pink, which is really cool. And it has the Archer and Olive logo. And in the back, including the band, it has the pocket. So it is a pretty standard A5, just with the added benefit that it has a pen loop. And what I am going to be using this gorgeous, gorgeous journal for is diary keeping. Now, if you use, like me, a typical American, uses journal and diary interchangeably, the reason why I am separating those two things out is because a diary is technically something where you basically do a day log. You make entries in chronological order for however many years you keep said diary. Where a journal, you can start it whenever. It's typically not about your day. It's about some type of topic or thing you're going to work through. For example, in my hobby journal, where while it will more or less be chronological because I will be jotting down stuff that I really like as I watch it, it will not actually be chronological because I'm going to be putting stuff that I loved when I was a teen. I'm going to be putting stuff out of order, essentially. And it's not going to be about my day in the way that this is going to be. I have actually been keeping a diary this entire year, and I've kept diaries on and off over the years, but as I get to another piece of stationery in this video, I have always had a problem keeping like keepsake diaries, if that makes sense, like something I actually want on my shelf and maybe reread in the future. I've always kept very ephemeral diaries and either literally like burned them or trashed them after I was done because they were pretty heavy. And with this one, even if things get heavy, I want to keep it because A, the cover is gorgeous, and B, I want to start having that built up legacy that I can refer to in a longer form diary compared to the other diary on this list. But we're not going to be talking about that one just yet. We have a few more journals to get through before then. And see, as we get to the next piece of stationery on this stationery lineup or stack, I really should be careful with my language because some of these aren't journals. And this piece of stationery is, can you guess, a sticker book. So I got this in, what is it, Jayu Drawers? Let me see, GG Drawers. I love when they have their branding prettily on this. And this is for sticker hoarders to unite. It has a Cupid design, which kind of fits with the Archer Olive I just showed. It has the angel design on one end, and then it has the devil design on the other in a very cutesy, like curvy black woman anime style covers. Inside, I have a ton of stickers, and I will not be showing all of them. And I will not be flipping through this, but I also have some bookish stickers as well. And this is pretty easy to explain, nothing really to it. It is just a sticker book, and it is my main sticker book that I will be continuing in 2026. The next two are actually a part of the same system, which is actually my budget planning. I have my budget planner and then like cash envelopes and things like that. So that's why I'm going to show them together. These are actually traveler's notebooks that I got from Pip Sticks, a very cutesy sticker company. And I failed in these actually. Like I actually failed in this type of journaling. I originally wanted to use these as travel journals, and I started to use them like that and like ripped out the stickers. Actually, in this one, you can still see like some things I got from trips in 2025 in here. But yeah, that's all going to be coming out. Now, originally, I was going to just like give up on the traveler style. Of all the journals I've tried in my life, I just was not vibing with it. But there was a YouTuber, and I'm going to link her down below because I cannot remember her handle right now, that was talking about how she failed in the travelers too because she felt like they were too ephemeral. And she wanted something that had like that keepsake quality to have a traveler's journal in. And I was like, hello, that's me. And so she repurposed them as like writing, like basically notebooks or scratch pads. And I thought that was a really cool idea. So what I decided to do is repurpose them as log books. So these are going to be logging my expenses and like aspirational purchases because I am going on a low buy / no buy in 2026. And so basically when I get home, I'm just going to jot them down kind of messy here and then, you know, standardize them in my budget planner if it was an actual expense. But I also want to keep track of the things like I just have the urge to buy, and these really work. They'll also be counting up the things I put into like savings challenges and things like that. And I just felt like it was a really cool way to use a traveler's. Now, the designs don't match at all because they have kind of like travel bookish designs. One is a library card, which I just thought was so cool and kind of analog. And the other one is like just a bunch of like locations around the world, Tokyo, Mexico, New York, like their major cities that I was going to use for like when I go on vacation. And this was the bookish conventions I was going to in 2025. 2025. But now I will be reusing them for that purpose. The only sad thing is, if you can kind of see my budget planners right here, these are taller than my budget planners, so they kind of stick out a little weirdly. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world, and I'm so happy that these journals don't go to waste, because I was actually, as you can see, in the process of disassembling them to use the covers for scrapbooking and then just have the paper as pulp. But I like that I can use them as intended. Next up is something that I've had in my collection for the better part of a decade. Not this particular notebook, but a notebook in general. With my trusty Pilot G207 pen that is very simple, because I don't have the best handwriting, and so I just love that this writes clean and writes fast. I have typically always had a ringed notebook, and these are things that I end up tossing after I fill up. So as you can see, for 2025, I have used nearly 50, no, what does that say? Yeah, 53 pages in this already. This is just like my messy book. Like, I sit here, I write scripts for YouTube videos, I write lists, I write aspirations, things like that. And what I have found over the years is that I would get these really pretty designs. As you can see, it's like pink birds with a floral pattern, a bit of gold in there as well, which I love, by OCS Designs. I would get these gorgeous notebooks from TJ Maxx, Marshall's, Home Goods, you know the drill, for about $5, $7. This one was $5. And I would use them as like a pseudo diary / pseudo notebook, right? But the thing about a notebook is I don't keep a notebook when it's filled. Like, it's filled with a bunch of random information, right? And so then I would end up also tossing my diary. And I didn't have a problem with that when I was younger, because like I said, I typically went to my diary to write heavy stuff. It wasn't really like a day log of positivity or gratitude. But I really wanted to separate this out. So this one will most likely not last me all of 2026, seeing as I've already filled up like 50 pages. But I have other notebooks, and I am going, like I said, on this no buy low buy next year, and I do not plan to buy any more notebooks, because even though I use them and I use everything / plan to use everything you see in this lineup, I just don't need to be in that TJ Maxx, because I don't just get a notebook, I get a mug, I get a water bottle. I just do too much. So all that to say, this is my notebook for probably the first half of 2026. Okay, on to something that will be very familiar to you if you watched my reading journal set up in 2025, and this is my Quirky Cup Collective Sugar and Spice Reading Journal. Now, off the bat, you can see the gilding has had a lot of damage this year. One, I did get the first batch of this journal. You can actually see a little defect. The B is completely black, and that is like a defect with this run. Two, it didn't come with a keepsake box, and so that probably contributed to it. And gilding is very delicate. And wait, did I say 1, 2, or A, B? Anyway, 3C is the fact that I used the crap out of this journal. As you can see, you can still see the red gilding when I like really close it, but it has no band, and look at how much I've used this thing. So all that to say, as much as it really makes me sad that the gilding has like kind of warped this much, even though this has remained on my table, I have used it consistently, touched it all year round. And what I should have done, which I've never done with journals before, is probably get a plastic sleeve. So I don't see a lot of people with Quirky Cup Collective journals on YouTube. Like, I feel like, well, I don't feel like, they are a popular brand, no different than Leela journals, but I just don't see them in like a lot of setup videos. So I do want to give that caveat that if you get one of their reading journals, because they don't have a keepsake box, just put like a sleeve on them, because this is something that you use heavily depending on who you are. I'm a big time reader, and so that is why my media journal is separated out from reading. And that's why I kind of want to call it a hobby journal, because while it have media, it'll have other things. So just to give you like a size comparison, and this one, you know, now that I look at it, maybe this is a little bigger than an A5. I've been trying to go in size order, but you know, more or less pretty close in size. And look at the difference in the bulk. Like, it's actually insane. So if I put all the books I typically read in a year, which this year was over 100, or it's about to be over 100, that notebook would fill up in like 6 months, and I kind of changed stuff up a little bit because yeah, my feet are starting to hurt because I wish you could see how I have this camera set up. So this is why I went with like a more fleece like textile for my hobby journal, seeing how the gilding held up on this not very well. But anyway, just moving on, I did do some decoration after the fact. I have this white cat sticker, Positive Energy, and Black Girls Read. This was a free sticker from Art by Tangi, who I order a lot of stickers from. And this one, I don't actually remember where I got it, but basically been stickering it. In the back, I used the sugar and spice sticker because I felt like it just looked really nice right there. And I kind of wanted to cover up the to be continued. And just to give you a quick look inside, I have not been keeping up with the table of contents. I think when I get to year 3, I will probably just go back and backfill everything. Because to be honest, I'm going to be on year 2 next year. And like I said, I've been using it a lot, so I haven't really been prioritizing this. And that includes this spread right here. I'm going to reimagine this at the end. What I have been keeping up with more or less is this reading tracker. As you can see, I update this like quarterly, if that makes sense, because I read so many books. So I'm going to go back and fill in the rest of 2025 at the end of December. July and August, the reason why I had a gap here is because I went on a big trip in July and then some nonsense happened in September. So I typically had been filling it in quarterly before then, and I plan to do that in 2026. Or if you all would like it, I might just do like monthly reading wrap-ups that also include my journal if there's any interest. Now, I have to be careful because I have some not safe for work art in here because I felt like that was a great place to put it. So just got to be careful. I have been keeping up with my to be read and my wish list, etc. And I'll be using that more during my book buying ban in 2026. What else? Oh, I have been keeping up a lot with this quick review section. It has been such a lifesaver. I've tried a couple different ways to fill in these boxes. But yeah, I have loved this, and I put stars next to all my 5-star reads, or pretty close. Turn to something that wasn't too terrible. So here we go. This is by Leon Raleigh, one of my favorite authors. Actually, my favorite author I found this year. And so, as you can see, I haven't backfilled this review because I haven't finished this book yet. I did just get it in the book box I got with other things, but then I will fill that as well. And I've done a lot of tip-ins and flaps as well, so I can hide some things and show off more things as well. Now, the fact that I've basically been collaging in here is also contributing to the bulk, but the one cool thing is that it's helped it lay flatter than it did when I got it. So that's been very cool to see. This is an example of a spread that is more filled out, but like I said, I have struggled to sit down and backfill the reviews. What I've been doing is uploading them to Storygraph, and so I need to come back and bring them here. But as you can see, I love this. I said I will reread it, and I've been trying to stick with sticker paper, which looks a lot better. I do have some non-sticker paper in here that I want to replace, but again, that's nearing the end. And I've just done a lot of tip-ins and things like that to keep things fresh and exciting and just really lovely to use. You can see my scribbles here, right? And this was like quick notes I was jotting down, and then like I transferred it to Storygraph. So yeah, the long reviews are kind of shoddy, but the art makes it prettier than it is. And the other thing I've been trying to do, as you can see with this spread, for example, you see like the dollar paper and then the sticker paper, but because I only have 60 spaces for full reviews, what I've been doing is putting anything that's in a series, or in this case, like related books, on the same spread and talking about them together, because otherwise I will run out of spreads so fast. For example, Helldivers, like ain't no way that series is like 16 books if I remember correctly. So like I would fill this up was like one series. So that is enough with long reviews. And finally, in the back, I've done some cool things. This is a piece of art I got off of Kickstarter, and I felt like it was just so magical and fit this whole sugar and spice theme perfectly. I've tipped in this map, which this comes from actually a very old planner I used to have, believe it or not, where you had like a bucket list at the beginning. And so I cut that out and tipped this in. And this is going to be my counter for all the American authors, all the the authors from around the world I've read. And then this European map I'm going to paste over and put fantasy world. So that is going to be very exciting in end of 2026, starting in 2027. Also had reading challenges back here. So this is Romanceopoly, where I was spinning the dice on and then quickly gave up on that one. And some of the washi tape was the set. And then this was 52 book clubs. Now, 52 book clubs, I ended up not completing, but I still wanted to memorialize it because it was a really fun challenge. So I put that in the back, and I'll fill this up with the rest of the stickers at the end of the year. And then what I plan to do, I don't have it in this lineup for a reason, but I did start the hardest reading challenge we'll ever do, and I'm going to say guilty because I love the Serpents and Swords release so much. I did not want to use the red reading journal I got to start in 2028 for that intended purpose. So I made that a HerCat journal for that challenge. And so I'm going to put the rest of like reading challenges and stuff in that one. So these back spreads are to be determined, and then get Serpents and Swords in 2028, unless they come out with another cool release, which they probably will. They have some of the coolest designs out there. But yeah, I really love this journal despite all the flaws. The bookmark it still holds up pretty well. It only has one. I'm pretty sure it's like teal blue with nothing on the bottom. And it does not have a pocket or a band like a lot of journals, but I still love it. I love the structured feel. I would never want to make a reading journal because you see, as much as I've kept up with this one, how much I also haven't kept up with it. And so I can imagine setting this all up by myself. But I do imagine using this for the next 2 years. Okay, so I talked about a lot of journals, stationery, diaries, etc. that you will see a lot of and some you won't see at all. In this one, the next 3 on this list, this stationery stack, you will not see at all. Let me not say that. You won't see me do detailed videos in the future. You might see this one pop up, for example. This one is one that's new to my lineup, and it is called my learning journal. It is basically where I set out to do different things like learning Spanish. And then I've also set up sections for, it was Korean, Swahili. What else did I say I wanted to learn? Probably at the end of my life. I am a very slow learner when it comes to languages. Spanish, Korean, Swahili, and Japanese. And these fit various aspects of my life that I really like. I am also going to be putting my personal curriculum in here. This is one of those cheap journals that I call the scholarship. These are one of these cheap journals. My mom actually got me as a gift when we went to TJ Maxx because I was trying not to buy more journals, and she just kept seeing me, and she saw me keep eyeing this one because I love the color blue, and so she got it for me. So I'm using this as a basically learning journal, more or less, not specifically a language journal. That's why I said learning. And you may see a bit of it when I am doing my personal curriculum in 2026, which is very exciting, in spring 2026. But like I said, I would never do deep dives on these because it's me just struggling to like say the alphabet and things like that. But if you want to see more content, this is something that I wouldn't hide on this channel compared to like say my budget planner. It's just not something that I really have a focus on. But if you want to see, I'm happy to share. This next one, I am unfortunately not happy to share at all. And this is probably actually going to be the only time you see it. And this is my traditional planner. So I have kept a planner since high school. Like I have never been without a planner really at all, especially when I became a working adult. And 2026 is no different. So as you can see here, it has a bit of gold. I love gold, so I love anything with a bit of gold foiling. It has a ton of dogs, which I thought was really cute because I feel like dogs get a bad rap when it comes to like cutesy stuff. I always see cat themed stuff, which I am also a cat owner, so I love, but like I love my dogs, and so I love that I have this, and I actually have a wall calendar my mom got me that features different cute breeds, like mixed dog breeds, like Maltipoo is January 2026. Hopefully you can see a bit of it right now. But yeah, I feel like dogs don't get the love they deserve, and so that is why I have this cute blue dog themed planner. It is a pretty standard planner, but it has some nice touches that I think this Tolfa brand is going to be my planner of choice moving forward because of that. So one, it has tabs, which is pretty standard in planners. I really like the overviews of the holidays and the yearly overview as well. I really love that it goes straight into the weeklies. The weeklies are nice, really nice for time blocking, enough space to do that. Nothing really to show you there. But the one cool thing is in the back, it does have a pocket, which I don't really see with like the cheaper planners I tend to get, including this band. And though I don't see this planner bulking up, I don't do a like sticker planning. I do a lot of decorative journaling, as you can see. So I never really feel the urge to sticker this. This just kind of sits open at my desk and I just, jot down and time block at work. But yeah, I just really like this, and I am happy that it has like these nicer touches on it as well. Here is another journal that I doubt you will ever see on this channel. And this, believe it or not, despite this absolutely beautiful like tweed pink, white, and black cover, you would think maybe this is like a fashion journal, including this pretty like silver bookmark. It is not. It is actually my faith journal. So I actually go through and just basically talk about my relationship with God, talk about different things that are troubling me, talking about different like verses, etc. And so I just started this faith journal, and as you can see, I'm a stickler for numbering, so I number the bottom pages. But yeah, I don't think I would ever like show this on this channel, but I did want to show it to you if you ever wonder like what is this pretty little tweed journal sitting on my lineup. And that is my faith journal. So not much else to say about it. I really do like it, and I come to it for a variety of reasons, but I just like to just chat it here. And another thing I love about this, I don't think you can see it in the camera, but it has like really subtle golden sparkles, and your girl loves gold, so that's why I love this faith journal. Okay, I know some of y'all are like, when will the stack end? There are so many journals here, and we are getting close, you all. So we are going to talk about something that is really near and dear to me, and it is my third Leela journal on this lineup, and that is something I just got into this year, and that is bullet journaling. So as I open this up, this is a B6 bullet journal, something that I have really come to adore. This size just works for me. If you see it compared to my planner, it is much smaller, but I think it works for me because I just don't need a ton of space to plan out and, track my 5 to 9, right? My job is like my day job is typically where I have the most tasks, and so I love this size. This is part of her newer collection, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but they all feature like these cutesy like embroidered covers. This one is a bear with flowers and some stars and sparkles, and that lace design has a green corduroy cover with lace edgings, which is just top tier. Leela journals with that kind of embroidered look in the back. I also like that the band is corduroy as well, so it kind of fits the design. It has a back pocket. It also has the front cover. So as you can see, I've already put my name because I am finishing my journal setup probably today or tomorrow, so I have at least put my name in here. And the poem in this one is, "These pages I'll write my memories, weaving them carefully through ribbed edges, because just like corduroy, I don't need to be loud to be seen. Just like corduroy, I feel warm and serene," which again is just adorable. I will be doing a deeper dive of this journal when I set it up for 2026 very shortly, so I won't say any more, but this is my bullet journal for 2026. I have only owned one other bullet journal, which is this Thickums right here. This is also a B6, and yeah, I think this is my size. I can't really see myself going to a bigger size. The one thing I am going to do that is different from a lot of people is actually fit a year into this B6 journal. And I know some people are shaking their boots because they're like, I fill up A5 in 3 months or 6 months. And that is, again, because I don't have a lot to yap about when it comes to my 5 to 9. It is pretty concise. And I'm also very new to the bullet journal system. And I would say very loosely, compared to the founder of bullet journaling, I don't have ADHD. And so really, this is also a creative outlet for me. I don't think I would have ever kept a straight bullet journal because I have a planner and that's basically how I plan. But I do also like the creative aspect, but not too much room that I'm just basically stickering the page and not being productive. So that's also why I love a B6 bullet journal. Okay, everybody, we are at the grand finale of my 15 journal, diary, etc. long stationery stack. Yeah, I have a lot. As you can see, I use them, but it is a big system. And coming from someone that used to keep just a planner and an all-in-one, I am kind of amazed how many journals and diaries and things I use nowadays. But I think that kind of speaks to also like changes in my life and different things that happened in my late 20s that made it so a lot more was going on, both emotionally and also just like physically in the world. And so I've kind of just expanded. But that said, it's time to stop yapping because we got to get to the last one on this list. And that is this 5-year Midori journal. Now, as you can see, it has this jet black kind of velvety cover. You know your girl is going to go for a gold foiling, which is what you see on the 5-year diary. In the front was the doors. The doors is kind of the theme of this journal, was the key design as well, kind of similar to Archer Owl's Love Spell, which has a key design on the back. It comes with 2 bookmarks, one red and one brownish, and yeah, I also has a keepsake box because it's supposed to be a 5-year diary. Now, what I loved about this diary is the fact that it was so thin. The paper is not like super bulky, so even as I've written in it, it hasn't like bulked up considerably since I opened it. And I actually have like physical items in here that I'll show you a couple things because this is my diary, so I don't really want to show it on the internet. But I do want to show you some of the ways I've used it in different ways, and I've seen for the few people that have shown off Midori diaries, most people have the Hobonichi, I believe. But either in the Midori or Hobonichi, I think I'm using it in a little bit of a different way compared to some people. So I wanted to show that off. Now, it is in Japanese, the instructions, and I was very, very silly. And in the beginning of the year, I'm just going to say this, if you ever start this, I did not realize that 25, well, I realized 25 was supposed to be here, 26, 27, 28, 29. It's undated, so you can start it whatever. But I didn't realize these little parentheses right here was supposed to be the day. So I was putting like random stuff right there. And then one day I said, like, how am I going to remember that this was like Monday or this was Tuesday, depending on like what I'm trying to remember. And yeah, figured that out. So if you get one of these, I'm just letting you know, probably you figured it out very easily. If you are a smart, you are smarter than me, but I didn't. One thing I want to point out on this page too is that this is the theme for December. It's like this deer. Each month has a different theme, so it kind of has a built-in tab system, which is nice. And then the lines are, I don't know if you can see it, they're kind of slightly wavy, which trips some people up. I love it because it has I don't know, it feels like more homemade. Now, you see a bunch of tabs right here. These are sections that I either wanted to come back to, or maybe the few sections I want to show off at the end of this journey, because I don't foresee myself, once again, sharing my diary on the internet, but I might show sections of it. Now, going inside, I have been decorating. I have this gigantic sticker. They tried to bury us. They didn't know we were seeds, which is, just what it is. I have a fortune cookie in here. A good memory is one trained to forget the trivial, which is kind of oxymoronic when you're talking about a diary where you write trivial things, but I thought it kind of fit. I have a turtle. I have like this caterpillar creature. More art by Tanji freebies, positive energy, radiate positivity. This travel sticker that was actually in my traveler's journal, and then this cat sticker. And then in the back, I have even more stickers. Right now it's Romance Reader, but I plan to just fill this up with stickers over the 5 years I keep it. Now going inside, because I never gave a tour of this, I got it like mid-February and obviously didn't show it off. So inside you have the start date because it is undated. You can start whenever. I backfilled it to the January 1st because I had the idea to get it in January, just didn't receive it until February. Inside you have a prologue page, so you can put a prologue of every year, and I can't wait to write my prologue for 2026. A page I haven't used yet is the epilogue page, so wrapping up your year. And throughout the journal, you have these blank pages, which I think is to account for, well, at first I thought it was to account for leap years because there was one in February, but they're like 4 in the diary. And again, because I can't read the instructions, I just decided to use it this way. So you choose your own adventure. I had basically longer reflection pages that I wanted to do at the end. And I just put like notes to myself, for example, in 2029 leading up to 2030, which sounds like a fake year, like it does not seem real. I will reflect on September 2025 through December 2029, only the last 4 months of each year. So basically, in the 4 sections, I will reflect on a quarter over the course of 5 years, if that makes any sense. Now, here are some of the unique ways I've used this. I have put stickers in here. So for example, I didn't finish this, but I knew exactly what happened because I went to EDC. And the reason why I put this gigantic sticker is that I will probably be at EDC in 2026 unless something happens, but knock on wood that it doesn't. And so this kind of covers those 2 years. Similarly, I got my very first VIP wristband ever. I have been going to concerts since I was 12 years old. Music is a big part of my life, and I have never had a VIP anything. And so I cut up, and I originally had it in my travel journal, but now I have it in this journal, my first VIP ticket, and I actually plan to put my other tickets for EDC along this page as well if I go for the next 5 years, which I tend to for now. As you can see, that bulked this up a little bit, but it still fits very cleanly into the box, which I really, really enjoy. And then, like I said, I won't show off a lot, but I'll show off some of the things I've done. But especially during the beginning, I didn't have a lot to say because I hadn't kept a diary in a long time, and I was never long-winded until recently in a diary. And so I actually did illustrations. So I can look back now in 5 years, but I can say on February 3rd, you can see the mistake here because I was not using these correctly. I put 25 here. Is that I finished, oh, I need to put a thud too. See, this is why you don't show your diary online. But I finished The Blood of the Orc Prince, one of the books, and I said, Tegan, you brat, because he was a brat, and I drew one of the main characters on here. On this page, and then this has also become kind of a mini health diary as well. I put my eyes hurt because I have a chronic condition called scleritis, and so I've actually been able to document, sadly, actually how many days I had like unbearable scleritis flares as well. But I've also put happiness, and I thought that this was a great way to kind of showcase that. One day I was on the moon, you know, sketching Orc Daddy, and the other day I was just so overwhelmed, February 4th, that all I could write was my eyes hurt. And I think that's kind of the joy of a 5-year diary. You get to see the minutia of your day-to-day over such a long time period. I have had to backfill, and I will be backfilling some pages here because when I was on trips, I was not filling in stuff, even though I really should have, and some other things like that. But I'll use, you know, calendars and other things like my reading journal to figure out what I'll put in those spaces, because while an empty page tells a story as much as a page that is full of writing and art and different things like stickers, I really want this to be filled, and part of that story would be backfilling, and that will tell a story as well, because every time I've backfilled, I put I am backfilling this entry. So I also get a sense of like when was the months that I was overwhelmed? Where did I have these gaps in my memory? And I just don't want to leave an empty space. I want to tell myself that story in 5 years. Okay, everybody, this is all the stationery I will be using in 2026. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you are royalty, thank you for returning. If you are a distinguished guest just visiting this realm, I hope that you consider liking this video and subscribing for more content just like this. And yeah, I would love to know if you plan to keep a journal, a diary, anything in 2026. I would love to know, and what you are using it for. My pile is very absurd compared to the average person, so please do not take this as some people feel prompted to go out and buy stuff if they see it online. As you can see, I use all of these other than these two right here in my future hobby journal right here, but everything else on this desk I have used some type of version or the actual thing this year. So I don't want you to feel pressured to go out and buy all this. But if you got some inspiration or you have different things that you're keeping, I would love to know, because I will always have an empty journal somewhere. And as these get filled up, I will purchase more. So that's it for now. Thank you so much once again. I can't wait to greet you in my realm once more. Until next time, bye.